All right, we're ready to get started. All right, good evening and welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It is July 3rd, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and pledge of allegiance? Please bless our family, friends, and community. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John?
Yes, here.
Mr. Capel?
Here.
Ms. Dreyer? Here. Mr. Neff?
Here.
Mr. Brumney?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Present.
And Ms. Cooper? Here. All present.
All right, great. We had a meeting on June 18th. We're looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes. Motion to approve. A motion by Mr. Martin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Ms. Dreyer? Yes. Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Stay.
Mr. Brumney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
6 yeas and 1 abstention.
All right. Minutes passed. Thank you. All right, we're on to the visitor section. Are there any visitors that would like to speak with City Council this evening? Come on up. If you don't mind introducing yourself, and we'll try to keep it to about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I won't even need that much time. My name is Jake Heskett. I just moved to Sunbury on June 24th. And so far it's been a great experience. I am the newly appointed pastor of the Sunbury United Methodist Church and wanted to introduce myself. If there's anything myself or the congregation can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out and know that we're praying for your leadership as you lead the people of Sunbury.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Welcome to the community. Thank you for being here.
much.
Any other visitors who would like to speak with City Council? Going once? Twice? Come on up, Mr. Barry Bennett.
Which church are you pastoring, Barry?
Yeah.
Very good. 5401. It's on Plantation Road. Sunbury, Ohio. First, I just heard a request to the webmasters, and I understand that you're still working in the dungeon hall. But if possible, get the I'm not quite sure what the term is, the individual pieces of the meetings were not downloadable until either yesterday or this morning. Like engineers report and police report, all those things. They just showed up as this is gonna happen, but it wasn't something you could click on until just recently. So I don't have too much to say because I haven't had time to digest it. I just want to go on record right now, being not in favor of the first reading contents of the Roman numeral. Any more comments?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other visitors who would like to speak to City Council? All right. Thank you very much. All right, we are on to committee reports. Mr. Neff.
Yes, the moment everyone has been waiting for, the parks update. Parks meeting was tonight. We actually had a pretty productive meeting, had a lot to cover.
Per usual.
Per usual. Yes, of course, that's 3. So we did talk a lot about the 4th, obviously, tomorrow. Market opens at 8. I hope I don't mess all this up. The parade is at 10. The kids zone opens at 11. The fireworks area will open up at 6, and then the fireworks should go off around dusk, which is usually typically around 10 o'clock at night, if that's ever. We also, an idea was brought up in the new business section, looking into different types of yard games or life-size Jenga or checkerboards, Connect Four boards to kind of start putting throughout the square or J.R. Smith parks to kind of start looking into that. We also had a really good parks update. The Reservoir Park, the ramp going down to the floating fishing pier should be completed this week, which is going to be very exciting to get that up and going. So that'll be fun for everybody. It's going to be off the hook, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Murray with the dead.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's really good. Old Orchard Park, we did have a lot to talk about on that one. So all that's on the mowing schedule now, so the trails will continuously be mowed. Whatever that hits the schedule, I don't know if it's weekly, bi-weekly or whatever. But it'll stay clear. We did talk about all of the trees maybe getting some sort of chainsaw carving in them. And it was brought up to have a storybook trail, which is a great idea to kind of go off of the Fallen Heroes Memorial. So it'll have a dedicated kind of to our soldiers, our first responders, and anybody who the more recognition they can get. And I think that would be phenomenal coming from the library, Memorial Park, to have a storybook trail that talks to our first responders and military. We also had a big shout out to Bright City Church. They, as well as the service team, painted the fences at J.R. Smith Park so their faces is nice and clean and looks good for everybody. They also did some work around the town square, painting the curbs, laying some mulch. So a big thank you to Bright City Church and the service team for getting all of that accomplished. All of the invasive species now have been removed at the General Rosecrans, so they're not a problem anymore, which is good. And I think that pretty much sums it all up, unless I forgot anything.
That's a big meeting.
It was a big meeting. Probably should give a shout out to Mr. Dorn Mason, because the Old Orchard Park was born from his vision of going down as an Eagle Scout project, of mowing out the trails and the paths so people can get in there. And it's cool that it continues to grow and become what it is today. So he's kind of left his own little legacy here in Sunbury and made an impact here in our community for the better.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Neff. Mr. Martin? Yep. All right, Mrs. Cooper? Nope. Mr. Capel?
It's a banner day for me. I have to give 2 updates tonight.
Okay.
So we'll start with events and commemorations. We met a couple weeks ago. Of course, we reviewed and approved the Independence Day and fireworks applications. Obviously, they're happening tomorrow. So we also spent a good bit of time discussing power on the square. Mr. Bennett presented some concerns as far as use of generators by vendors during events that are held on the square, and how much noise they create. And one of the major concerns that was brought up is, do the incoming vendors even know what our power options are, what their power options are on the square? So we're going to look at communicating that better to them. I know that Mr. Bennett mentioned one of the vendors didn't even realize that we had the power to support his operations, and he might have saved money on a generator by plugging in the power source. So that was one of the major topics.
Can I add something?
Yes.
So I wasn't able to make the events committee meeting, but I watched your meeting online, and I just this isn't about the power, but just in regards to communication, because I know Amber gave a big shout out to Nancy Crawford for communicating with her vendors.
Mhm.
I also just wanted to give a shout out to Cindy Ernst, because I helped a group register for the parade. She didn't have the right. I helped her register. And so I'm getting the communication from the Civic Association on behalf of the lady. And I'm also seeing what I helped my daughter's cheerleading gym. And I am seeing the communication that Civic is telling everybody about the parade safety practices. And I'm also seeing from the perspective of a cheer mom, and the owner is directly sending it all out. So it's not about, this isn't particular to the electricity, but I do know that the Civic Association is pushing it really hard through email and their social media. And if my one float is any indication, folks that are just, my daughter is walking in the parade, and I've been given all of the rules. I've been told specifically that we need to have adults, that we need to be throwing the candy out. So I think we had some miscommunication there, but we're getting better in general with communication. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Cindy Ernst too, because they're doing a really good job with that, since we kind of gave them all those new rules, and they're really taking it seriously.
Yep. And I think when we were talking communication, we were really more focused on making sure that people knew what their options were when they came to the square and knew what they needed to supply on their own for power as far as utilities went in general and what we could provide to them, as well as what any parking requirements might be on the square, any fees that go along with that. I know we talked about the fees that some of the events are charging for parking on the grass around the square. But then we also talked about potentially creating a kind of a help guide for event planners on how to request and how to use the space around the square. So potentially to kind of condense all this into one easy place to help our event planners with future major events. Yeah, and that was about it for the events committee meeting. Then we had our services committee prior to our meeting here tonight. Our summer intern, Grant Colson, presented a comparison study between our 2016 streets thoroughfare plan versus the way that it all turned out versus current state satellite images of our roads. So we got to see side-by-side comparison of what was originally planned back in 2016 and what ended up materializing in reality. Definitely interesting to see, some roads just didn't happen quite the way they were planned out, but it's good to look at as we start to do a new thoroughfare plan for the city going forward. Just a reminder too, we've got the 2024 street plan that's starting. North Miller Drive due to be completed by August 14th with significant completion by September 13th. Our team is doing crack sealing starting next week. And then we are contracting with DLZ Inspection Services to do some inspection and testing for the concrete and asphalt as we do our streets program. That's on the agenda for later this evening. This is our second year working with them. They did the same kind of role last year, basically assessing and auditing the work that the contractor's doing while they do the street improvements. The Municipal and Police Building scheduled to finish work on July 18th, although there's still some work to do inside the buildings as far as cleaning and occupancy permitting to do, hoping, as Daryl said, to have our next services meeting with a fully open building, open and occupied building. And then last, street sweeping starts the week of July 15th. So you'll see the trucks around doing the street sweeping. And that's all I've got.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Capel. Grummy? Mr. Grummy?
No.
All right. Ms. Drake?
I do, after attending the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission meeting, there's a couple things that was of most interest to me, so I thought I would relay the information to all of you. There is an app, and these two items, these couple items have been approved so far, so they are moving forward. There is a partnership of VOCON, VOCON partners. They are requesting an application of the plan to mixed use standards to be applied to a 24.5 acre site to serve as a Mercedes-Benz dealership and future outlets. The location is 3637 and Wilson Road. Present zoning is farm residential. Proposed zoning is mixed use. And the present use is vacant. Proposed use is the Mercedes dealership with outlets. And that is in the Big Walnut School District. The development plans calls for a 58,982 square foot car dealership, commercial building, 406 assorted parking spaces, open space potentially developed at a later date, private driveway with 1 point of ingress and egress to US 3637, right, which is right in, right out only. And they would like to have a nice welcome to Berkshire Township monument signed and landscaping right along Wilson Road at 3637, right on the frontage. The new car dealers are listed as a permitted use within the boundaries of this site. Let's see, for more specific location, the Carlton and Berkshire multi-family residential development will border the site to the south. And the final draft is currently under review. The Sunbury Garden Center borders the site to the east, which has been located there for 25 years. And the site, let's see, across the street from these properties are active agricultural fields. They are owned by Ohio Health. So this will be the first car dealership to be developed in this area. And it's going to kind of set the precedent for future car dealers in that area. And the applicant indicated that if everything is approved, they will begin construction or groundbreaking in October of 2024, final completion in 2026. So the other, and they've got a picture, you can get online and see the picture of the dealership. So the other one that was of interest to me that I think will be of interest to you is the Carlton at Berkshire. This is the Carlton at Berkshire Township at Wilson Road and Ryder Roads. This is a one lot, 33.8 acres. Right now it is, what they want to develop is a subdivision, a multifamily subdivision. The location is east side of Wilson Road, south of Ryder Road, also in the Big Walnut School District. The applicant is requesting a combined preliminary plan for the Carlton of Berkshire, located east of Wilson Road, south of Ryder Road. The development site is 26.5 acres with 7.33 acres of dedicated right-of-way. The site is currently vacant with the construction of Ryder Road currently underway. Wilson Road was built in 2016 when Tanger Outlet property was developed. At that time, the road was placed in an easement with the agreement that when this land was subdivided, the right-of-way would be dedicated. So this also fits in their plan for this area. The property will include 312 multi-family units in 13 buildings, plus 9 garage buildings, a clubhouse, a swimming pool, fitness building, 2 stormwater ponds, and an ample space for existing wetlands. So I thought these were of most important or interest to us.
Thank you. All right, our Planning and Zoning Commission met, it was last week. We did have a public hearing, the Sunbury Parkway Comprehensive Plan. We only had 4 members out of our Planning and Zoning Commission at that meeting. There was a lot of great dialogue amongst the members. It did not go to a vote. It will go to a vote at our July meeting. Hitachi Astemo, our largest employer, is received approval for a building expansion. Very excited to see Hitachi continue to grow. Just some quick facts. They create every fork and suspension system for every Harley Davidson on the road, made right here in Sunbury. No other plant. So if you see a Harley, part of that motorcycle was made right here in Sunbury. Right now they're producing 18,000 parts per day, and they have demand to go up to 26,000 parts within the next 2 years. So there's a definite need to expand. They're having discussions with their primary consumer is Honda, but they also make parts for Toyotas, Subarus, BRP. Their fastest growing market is what they call the 2-wheel market, but that also includes like off-road vehicles and things like that. There was also an informal presentation on the Hale Evans property that from an informal zoning perspective. And then we also had an informal presentation on a building tear down and new build of the Sure Signs building right here on East Greenville Street. We are on to the police report. Deputy Chief Wade, floor is yours.
Mayor, council, thank you. The chief had submitted the police report, just an update on that. The paving is complete in the back lot of the police department. The light is at the end of the tunnel. It's been a hectic couple of weeks with moving of furniture. A big shout out to Julie movers and stepping up and moving the donated furniture from Delaware County to our facility and helping put together the U-line furniture, which included lockers, patrol desks and training tables and so on and so forth. New sergeant process obviously has been ongoing. It's complete and George Holden was selected as our sergeant. We wish him the very best. The selection process is good for 12 months. So each candidate was ranked and thanks to all that helped in that process. We welcomed we had a part-time officer opening. We welcomed and Mayor sworn Adam Walter as a part-time officer with us. He served 14 years with Upper Arlington Police Department, currently works with Chase and is excited to come here. His wife works here locally as well. Sergeant Meade's currently off with injury and the chief's under the weather, so that's why I'm sitting in this evening. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Questions for Deputy Chief? Any comments?
Well, congratulations to Sergeant Holden.
Yeah.
Easy, but you know, I had a chance to sit in on some of that. And that made me real proud to see our police department, our police officers coming in and interviewing for that. That was phenomenal to watch. And just the talent that we have on our police department, it's definitely a great thing. It was really encouraging to see everybody wanting to move forward, all promotable people. I mean, heck, they could all be virgins today. So
Yeah, within a couple points, literally within a couple of points.
Yeah.
Great point. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Deputy Chief Wade? All right, we are on to the administrative report. Mr. Hennessy.
So just three quick points here. One is the demolition of the buildings over there at Columbus and Granville. We are closing out our grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Development. So we're getting our money, the check is in the mail, as they tell me, $30,500. So and we received it according to the Director of Finance. So I've included the June zoning report. It tells us the same thing that we already know, which is that Sunbury is growing rapidly. New building zoning certificates are at 97 through the first half of the year, up 36+% from last year. And again, as a reminder, last year was a record year for us. So continues to move in that direction. We do have building in all 4 subdivisions I've identified: Eagle Creek, Magnolia Park, Price Ponds, and Rolling Hills. So all are very active. And then the final thing, I just wanted to take a moment to thank our service team. We've talked a lot about this in the 2.5 years that I've been here with the city. We're very concerned about the safety for pedestrians along the East Granville Street, where it goes under what used to be the old bridge, what will ultimately be the Preservation Park's Ohio to Erie Trail. Earlier this week, they basically took out some equipment with the help of the entire staff, cleaned the sidewalks on both sides of the street. Basically pushed the hillside back a little bit, basically exposing what sidewalk was there, removing some rocks, cutting back the debris. I did include a couple of pictures in your packet. By my estimation, I think that we've gained at least a foot or 2 of additional walking space on that sidewalk on each side of the street. I know this has been an issue of some concern for a long, long time. It's obviously the subject of a big future capital improvement project. But I think they did an outstanding job to do what they could in a low-cost way to help make that safer. So, and really happy that we got this done before the 4th of July. That's it.
Just another additional shout out to your services department. We talked in Parks about how they helped with the Bright City Church preparing the mulch around the trees. And I was sitting on the square the other day, and a girlfriend was on a walk. Actually, Renee Bream was on a walk, and of course we had to talk, and she just looked around and she said, "This place looks great. We are ready for a party." I mean, it was just so clean and pretty, and they just did such a good job. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass that along.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Hennessy? All right, we do have the engineer's report. Are there any highlights that you'd like to call out, Mr. Hennessy?
Yeah, I wasn't going to highlight anything other than, again, to say that unfortunately Dan is not feeling well and couldn't be with us. If there are questions, I may be able to answer them. If not, I'll certainly follow up. There is a lot obviously going on the engineering front.
All right. We are under resolutions, no third readings. We do have a second reading of resolution number 2024.11, a resolution declaring the Sunbury East New Community Authority to be organized and a body politic and corporate, to define the boundary of the authority's new community district, to provide the method of selecting the board of trustees of the authority, and fix the surety for their bonds, to appoint certain members to the board of trustees. And this is a reading only. First reading, resolution number 2024.12, resolution as required by Ohio Revised Code 709.023C, setting forth municipal services that will be provided to 60.836 plus or minus acres of land in Berkshire Township, Delaware County, Ohio, if annexed to the city of Sunbury, Ohio. I believe this requires annexation based on state law.
Right. Exactly.
Or it requires approval based on state law, excuse me. All right, any comments for staff, questions from staff? Looking for a suspension of the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Got a motion by Mrs. Cooper to suspend the rules.
Second.
Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
7 yeas.
You don't need a motion on the emergency, right?
Correct.
Okay, so just motion on the resolution number 2024.12.
Got a motion by Mrs. Cooper on the resolution.
Second.
Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
7 yeas, the motion passes.
All right, no more resolutions. We are on to ordinances. Third reading, ordinance number 2024.14. An ordinance accepting a petition for annexation of territory consisting of 298.398 plus or minus acres of land located in Trenton Township, Delaware County, known by Forrest J. Hale, trustee or successor trustee, Forrest J. Hale Living Trust, Marilyn R. Hale, trustee or successor trustee, Marilyn R. Hale Living Trust, John E. Evans and Linda K. Evans, husband and wife, declaring an emergency. This is a third reading. And it looks like we would need an emergency and passage on this.
Motion on the emergency.
We got a motion by Mr. Martin on the emergency,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
all yeas, 7 yeas, it passes.
All right.
Motion on ordinance 2024.14.
Got a motion on the ordinance by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
7 yeas, the motion passes.
All right. No second readings. We do have a first reading, ordinance number 2024.16, an ordinance declaring the improvement to certain parcels of real property to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation, establishing a municipal public tax increment equivalent fund, and providing for the collection and deposit of service payments into that fund, specifying the public infrastructure improvements directly benefiting from the parcels, and declaring an emergency. I believe this is a first reading only. Are there any comments or questions on this?
I've got a couple. Could you just do some bullet points on, because on section 2, 4, 5, 8, and 9.
5, 8, and 9. Okay.
All right. Ordinance number 2024.17, an ordinance approving the execution of an annexation agreement with the Northport Place LLC and declaring an emergency. This is a first reading. Any comments on this? All right. Ordinance number 2024.18, an ordinance approving easement vacation as part of the replat of part of lot 948 of Sunbury Commerce Park Phase 2 and declaring an emergency.
I think just the first reading tonight.
Okay.
This is the apartment, Romanelli apartment piece. There's an easement they established when they platted that whole area that's no longer needed. Our engineers verified it, and with their engineers, they need to clean that up. And this replatting does that. Doesn't create additional lots. It leaves the same lots. It just vacates that easement that's no longer needed. But this is first reading tonight. Is there any questions between now and second reading? We'll have to get those answered for you.
Great. Thank you. All right, moving on, unfinished business, DLZ inspection services.
Yeah, so as Mr. Capel indicated, we talked about this during the Services Committee meeting. The request this evening is to authorize staff to engage DLZ to serve as the city's contract administrator and inspector for the 2024 street program. They served in this capacity last year. The proposal is a time and materials request up to $48,735. And as a reminder, the street program is a $600,000 program.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
7 yeas, the motion passes.
Concrete One Construction, Sunbury Estates Contract Services. Mr. Hennessy, we're ready to.
Yeah, so we had talked about this at the last Services Committee meeting. We had gone out, asked for quotes to provide concrete services for the Sunbury Estates sidewalk repair project. So this is the lowest proposal that we received. The other one, we sought 3 proposals. We got 2 responses. This one, I think, is approximately 25% below the other. We've done the due diligence on the insurance and where they've worked with other communities. So with council's authority, we'd like to proceed with this company to do the work over in Sunbury Estates.
Motion to approve. A motion by Mr. Capel to gladly approve.
Gladly.
Get that off
This
your
has been a long
agenda.
time coming, yes.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dreher. Every time I think about this one, I think of like the ice cream socials, door-to-door canvassing and polling to seek public input, seeking tree experts, concrete experts, social media requests. Says it all. We're looking for a roll call.
Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Dryer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
7 yeas, the motion passes.
All right, we're on doing unfinished business. Excuse me, sorry, Sunbury Memorial Park. I'm so sorry. I thought that was our executive session.
a different sheet that you have?
No, but I knew if anybody called me out on it, you did.
So this one, again, just in front of the council, it makes a minor revision to the rules and regulations. It's the last page in your packet. The only change is basically regarding weekend and holiday burials. Just asks that the funeral home or the family coordinate that with the city prior to setting the date. And that great size services must conclude on those days by 11 a.m. So at some point, whenever council is ready, we'd love authority to make that change.
I'll make a motion on that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Ms. Cooper made a motion, struggling here at the end. Second by Mr. Capel, beat you there. I did have a question, just, Mr. Bream, you've looked this over. You're also a lifetime resident. Any concerns, with this from a legal perspective?
No, it seems like a minor change. Weekends are tough and we have to have staff to do it. And if it's scheduled and there's no staff, then we've got a real problem. We've got a whole family expecting to have things happen that can't happen. So.
Yeah. And what I didn't mention is we used to have a backup person. Unfortunately, that person has since passed away. So yeah, it is really getting to be just a scheduling challenge. So
So, all right, we're looking for a roll call.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
7 yeas passing.
All right, now we are on to Mr. Neff, new or unfinished business, sir. No. All right, Mr. Martin. Mrs. Cooper.
Nothing.
Mr. Capel.
I wanted to thank Daryl and staff for procuring a nice new US flag that'll be on display. It's on display right now, but just in time for the 4th of July. So
That's great.
appreciate it.
Excellent.
That's all.
Mr. Graham.
I have nothing. Nope.
I've got one more thing.
Okay.
Okay, also at that meeting the other night. And in Berkshire Township, a new BST&G fire station will be built. And that is on a 3-acre site. So that's fantastic. And all that's on their website.
That's right. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, my only new and unfinished business, I love that we have a lot of people here this evening. Also, just want to give a shout out to my mom and stepdad for being here. That's new. And it's definitely unfinished. We invite you back all the time.
It's absolutely not new. It's a pretty much an annual event.
Well, no, it's new and unfinished, like they're attending here.
They've been here before for meetings.
Not, and listen, just take the stand, please.
They have. When you got sworn in.
I think you're thinking of Kit. My mom and Kit kind of.
When you got sworn in.
All right, we do have a need to get back to business. We do have a need to enter executive session. Before I read this out, the folks I think we're gonna need in that executive session will be Mr. Dave Bream, Mr. Hennessy, and Dana, but I think, and all city council members, and we do not expect to take action afterwards, so. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public official or employee. We got a second by Mr. Neff. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
7 yeas.
Let's plan on reconvening at 8:13 and a half.
Half's the tough part.
wait.
All right, I'll make a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Second by Mr. Martin. Roll call.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Ms. Strayer?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Martin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion? Everybody have a great, safe Independence Day. Happy 4th. Probably is my favorite holiday around these parts.
Around these parts.
All right.
Roll call.
Ms. Strayer?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah,
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
7 yeas, we are adjourned.
thank you.
Then just hit end.